What's up, Block fam, and welcome to an episode where we are continuing to explore the Yamaha MT line. So the last video you guys saw, I had borrowed a friend's Yamaha MT-09. This, while it has the same color wheels, is not that same motorcycle. This is a Yamaha MT-10. So basically, it's a hyper naked, same as the last one, but instead of a 3-cylinder 900, this is a 4-cylinder 1000. This is basically a Yamaha R1 engine. I wouldn't even say detuned, it's been retuned, and this bike is an absolute monster. So my first experience with this motorcycle, it nearly bit me. Oh my god. I have experience with bikes that are powerful. I had a CBR600RR. I currently own a Harley-Davidson Softail Low Rider S, which we've done a 131 stage 4 in it with a 590 race cam from S&S. My wheel came up. God. I've kind of grown since I rode this bike last, and I've gotten a lot more experience. The first time I ever rode a MT-10, it wasn't even called the MT-10, it was called an FZ-10. So whenever they were still going under the FZ naming scheme, ever since that ride, I've kind of had like just a hella respect for this bike, and I've always told people like that bike is ridiculous. It's got so much power, you can't use it all. It's a lot of bike. I had to ride it here. I wasn't getting on it, right? But I was definitely giggling a bit just because the sound of this thing is incredible. Right now what I'm doing is I'm doing my research because I want to purchase one of these Yamaha MT bikes, and I was pretty much confirmed on the 09, but I wanted to do my research on the 10 as well, just in case, you know, to like really solidify. So I posted up a thing on Instagram. I was like, hey, does anybody in Central Florida have a Yamaha MT-10 that they would be willing to lend me for a couple videos? You will be compensated. One of the longtime friends of the channel, Pete, he said that he had a friend that has one, so he got in touch with him, and then we basically worked out the details. So you guys be sure to go give them both a follow. Awesome opportunity, because you can't usually just go and do demo rides on these bikes unless they're having like a demo ride event. So, which, I mean, those only come every so often. So the owner of it, his name's Jason. It is not a stock MT-10 by any means. It's got a full header back exhaust. He removed the Yamaha stuff and put little Decepticon badges there. The ECU has been touched on this, so it's not going to handle quite like a stock one would. They say it actually is better in terms of power delivery. Oh, and then we also have the comfort seat, which is a very big deal. Apparently this is a difficult seat to come by, but it's a night and day difference. Oh my god, guys. Okay, there we go. This bike is crazy. So ergonomics pretty much feel the same in terms of like the height of the bike as compared to the FZ or MT-09. I'm not quite flat-footing it. Almost. Definitely on the balls of my feet, a little lower, almost touching heel, and I'm 5'10". One of the things I love about the MT-10 versus the previous iteration of the MT-09 is the fact that this one has cruise control. So cruise control there, turns on, off, and then you set and resume there, or increase, decrease. These bar-on mirrors, CRG, absolutely awesome. A selection switch, so you basically trigger switch there, and that's going to switch between trip 1, trip 2, miles per gallon, and your average, and then your odometer. Then you've got your traction control, so you press up or down to increase or decrease, and you've got 3 traction control modes. So you've got 1, which is the least amount of invasiveness, as he said, 2, medium, 3, most. So I'm going to start with 3 because I don't want to do wheelies on this thing. Like I said, PTSD kicking in. This thing does pull up wheelies, no problem. Don't want to do that. I'm not good at wheelies, so I'm not looking to do wheelies. You've got your lights, so your high beam, your pass, press and hold for pass indicator there. The display is actually really nice. It's, you know, nice and big and centered. I know a couple of you guys were saying you didn't like that the MT-09 had it off center, but this one's centered up, and it's nice and very visible. Then you've got your indicators, left, right, into cancel, horn, right side throttle, obviously, on, off, start, your mode. So you're going to press this over to change your ride mode. So we're in ride mode 3, which is the most tame power delivery. Then you've got 2, which is standard, basically in the middle. Then you've got 1, which is just absolutely crazy. He didn't recommend to do mode 1 just because it's just really like powerful very suddenly. Yeah, we're gonna keep it in 3 since this is my first ride on it. So yeah, I'm just gonna do a run up a local road here real quick, let you guys know what the bike feels like. Especially like I'm gonna be comparing it a lot to the MT-09. It does have a quick shifter also. See how effortless that was? That's a lot. That's a lot. Doing that on the MT-09 feels so much different. The big differences that I am noticing is the weight of the bike. The MT-09 is like much lighter weight, but despite the weight of the bike, this one still feels super nimble. But because it is heavier, it does feel more planted. Because it feels more planted, it feels smoother than the MT-09. And I don't know if that's just because the suspension has been tuned, that might be why, but it is a noticeable difference in the smoothness of the bike. Guys, I am just in love with the sound of this thing. Very surprised whenever I first rode this bike ever as compared to now. Maybe it's the fact that I have it in like mode 3, but getting on it there, I didn't feel like that front wheel was going to come up at all. I mean, it did feel like it was kind of floating a little bit, but I felt like I had 100% control of it, which is good because whenever I previously rode it and that front wheel came up, I didn't feel like I had any control of it. Good noticeable difference. Guys, the braking on this thing is just awesome. Need to like get these bikes side by side, like the MT-09, and riding them side by side would be incredibly insightful. Low speed maneuvering, like even you know when you're going at speed, like the bike just feels incredibly, I don't know, it's, even though it is a heavier bike, it still feels like you can throw it around pretty easy. The braking, yeah, like I said, feels really great on it. Can't get over that sound. So MT-09 would get me in trouble. MT-10 would also get me in trouble. Super confident on it. I don't know if I feel as confident on it as the MT-09, just because like I'm still kind of getting used to it. It doesn't feel as like I can throw it around as well or as easily. Some of it might be the fact that like there's this big kind of piece right here that like you're seeing, and so it's like it might not feel as nimble because like visually it's not as skinny either, you know. It just feels like a lot more bike visually, but I mean you can still feel the weight of it for sure. Plenty of confidence leaning it over, man. I feel like I'm not even touching this bike's like abilities. Wow. That just felt incredible. And the reason it did is because it weighs more. It felt more planted going into those turns. My heart is racing right now. So in mode 3, the power delivery is nice. It's very smooth. It's definitely on the upper edge of like my comfort level. So I honestly don't really want to put it into mode 2. So I think, you know, screw it. I'll do it. ride pulls harder in Mode 2. I can definitely feel that front end wanting to come up more. All right, guys, stopped at a bit of a photo spot, took a couple pictures. Here's one of them. So standing back looking at this thing after I've ridden it for a little bit, I've got like kind of a whole new outlook and respect for this bike. I mean, I had respect for the bike beforehand. I think after the first time that I rode it, I just thought like this bike is ridiculous. I have been riding for a few more years now since I rode it previously. I'm able to handle it much better, which should be insight into those of you that basically like ask me if this is a beginner's bike. Like, no, this is definitely not a beginner's bike. This is definitely like one of those higher tier experience level motorcycles. We'll do a whole episode on, is the MT-10 a beginner's bike? And I'll really get into it, but I'm kind of proud of myself, to be honest, guys. I'm feeling a moment of like, you know, I'm feeling proud of myself because I was able to handle this much better than I did in the first test ride. Obviously that is chalked up to years more of experience of riding motorcycles. You know, it's like experience is the best teacher, and the way that you grow your skill set is to actually be on a bike riding. I'm gonna get back on it, head back. We'll kind of close this one out, but one thing I do want to ask for you guys to do for me is if there's anything about the MT-10 that y'all want to know, do me a favor and be sure to comment down in the comment section, because tomorrow I'm gonna be taking this bike out and I'm gonna try to put, you know, over 100 miles on it, just so I can really put it through its paces, getting it kind of in a couple more twisties. We're going to do some distance on it. We're going to use cruise control, going to see how it does on highway, stuff like that. That next video is basically the video that I'd like to try and answer a lot of y'all's questions. So if you have any questions on the MT-10, like I said, do me a favor, drop them down in the comments below. This seat, though, incredibly comfortable. The startup, though, oh my god, turning radius on it doesn't feel quite as good as the 09. I don't know if there's actually any validity to that. Suspension test. Ooh. God, this bike just sounds like a monster. One of the biggest things that I'm really noticing about this bike is, despite its just enormous amounts of power, it feels so smooth. One of the things that I did notice with the MT-09 is that in some of the accelerations, whenever I was, you know, really getting on it, the bars would kind of move a little bit. Now this does have a steering damper. I can't remember if the 09 had a steering damper. I'll be sure to look that up. One of the things that I'm noticing a lot is just how smooth it is, especially leaning over in the corners. Planted, which is awesome because it instills so much confidence. Like, it just feels like it's on rails, man. I don't know what it is. The geometry of the bike is maybe a little bit different. It does have a pretty short wheelbase. I'm really impressed thus far, guys. Like, it's, I think the sound alone is something that might be causing me to sway more towards the MT-10. This is a hard decision, man. I'm really trying to decide between the MT-09 and the MT-10. I'll be honest with you guys. After riding the MT-09, I was pretty smitten, and I put a deposit on an MT-09 SP. Pretty much the decision was made, and I just got this one, and now I'm really second-guessing myself. Obviously, the differences between the two: the MT-09, much more lightweight, skinnier, feels more flickable. But this one, more powerful, but on that, do you need the extra power? Because, dude, this thing is, like, the 09 is plenty quick. Do I need the extra power of the 10? Probably not. But what I do love about it is how smooth it feels. And like I said, I don't know if that's the extra weight. I don't know if that's the tuned suspension. I'm really kind of curious, because it's just an absolute game changer, like, the way that it feels. Anyways, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up there then. So like I said, if you guys do want to know anything about it, do me a favor, be sure to post up down in the comments below. Let me know what questions you guys might have, and hopefully I will be able to offer some insight, seeing as how I have this bike on loan for the next couple days. Big thanks to Jason the Mech. Really appreciate it. Oh yeah, that's a cop. Guess what I'm not doing? really getting on it right here. I don't want this dude to come after me. Alright, well, hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, do me a favor, be sure to hit that like button. Help us hack that YouTube algorithm. If you guys aren't subscribed, you want to see more Moto content, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon so it sends you notifications of future uploads and activity as well. And until next time, ride safe, stay vigilant. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Cop ruined that outro, so we got to do another one.